Good afternoon, students. I'm your English teacher, Bashma Sevara. Today is the last lesson on ESP, lesson 11. So topic is reviewing the content of lesson planning and advantages of CLIL. In this lesson, we will speak about the contents of lesson planning and its advantages of CLIL. Now, let's go. Cultural content in CLIL. As content and language integrated learning is seen not only as an approach to subject and language learning, but also in broader educational and even political context as a means of understanding proponents and exponents of content and language integrated learning. See its advantages in terms of both achieving bilingualism and improving intercultural understanding. In the cultural context, content and language integrated learning is seen to build intercultural knowledge and understanding by developing intercultural communication skills, whilst learning about other countries or other minority groups. Any institution using a content and language integrated learning approaches are likely to enhance their profile by accessing international certification and preparing students for internationalization. So, linguistically, content and language integrated learning not only improves overall target language competence, but also raises awarenesses of both mother tongue and target language, while encouraging learners to develop plural lingual interests and attitudes. Content-wise, content and language integrated learning provide opportunities to study content through different perspectives, access subject-specific target language technology, and hence prepare for future studies and or working or life. Educationally, content and language integrated learning adds to complements individual learners' range of learning strategies, while adding diversity and flexibility to existing methods and forms of classroom practice. Here, we may compare CLIL and ELIT. In many ways, the CLIL approach is similar to a modern ELT concept of integrated skills lessons, except that it includes exploration of language, is delivered by a teacher versed in CLIL methodology, and is based on material directly related to a content-based subject. Both content and language are explored in a CLIL lesson. A CLIL approach is not far removed from humanistic, communicative and lexical approaches in ELT, and aims to guide language processing and supports language production in the same way that an EFL, ESL course would by teaching techniques for exploiting reading or listening texts and structures for supporting spoken or written language. Processing the text. The best texts are those accompanied by illustrations so that learners can visualize what they are reading. When working in a foreign language, learners need structural markers in texts to help them find their way through the content. These markers may be linguistic, headings, subheadings, and or diagrammatical. Language identification. Learners are expected to be able to reproduce the core of the text in their own words. Since learners will need to use both simple and more complex language. There is no grading of language involved, but it is a good idea for the teacher to highlight useful language in the text and to categorize it according to function. Learners may need the language of comparison and contrast, location of describing a process, but may also need certain discourse markers, adverb phrases or prepositional phrases, collocations, semi-fixed expressions, and set phrases may also be given attention as well as subject-specific and academic vocabulary. Lesson planning in CLIL. It is necessary to analyze the content, objectives, and sequence lesson planning, content, and language integrated learning. Taking into account the different aspect features, the language stages also contain in it varied components and tasks based on foreign language materials. The objectives of the lesson plan also are set coming out of the specific character of the subject. For example, we may focus on the following lesson plan on CLIL. Analyzing a lesson framework in CLIL. Even we may look more closely at how content and language integrated learning is realized in the classroom and suggest a framework for planning CLIL lessons. According to scholar ideas, the lesson framework is carried out under the following phases and principles. The first one is underlying principles, second classroom principles, third lesson framework, and the fourth one conclusion. Classroom principles. Some of the basic principles of CLI are that in the CLL classroom, language is used to learn as well as to communicate. It is a subject matter which determines the language needed to learn. So, it is the end of our PPT. As a home task, you should find out the three principles. The first one, underlying principles, lesson framework, and conclusion. And also you should read all the materials about the new topic and answer the questions. So, lesson is over. Goodbye.